What's going on, everyone? Welcome in to another episode of the Dairyland Drive. Colin Telbert, Riley Ashe, Mike Schneider. Boys, how we doing? Another start to the week, recording this on a Monday. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Pretty chill. Got down on the golf course yesterday. I'm happy.
Yeah, pretty good. Survived my brother's bachelor party. Lake day yesterday to reset, and here we are.
Yeah, I survived my pregnant wife's 30th birthday party too. That was a rager this past weekend down in Princeton. But did you know that there is like an NA beer for like literally everything now? I found her some NA Blue Moon. There's like NA Mango Cart. Like literally anything you can think of has NA nowadays. So she was super excited about that. I think she only drank like one or two, but still enjoyed them. But cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a great weekend and good weather today too. So can't complain about that. Today's episode, we're going to keep it on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to go to the running back room. I think could be the most important room, arguably, on this Packers offense and their success for 2025. And of course, that all starts with the acquisition from last year, Josh Jacobs, who had a pretty darn good season, I would say, boys. Last year, his first year as a Packer, which we didn't really know. Like we had Aaron Jones, who I think all of us loved Aaron Jones and just what he brought to the team for the last 5 or 6 years, whatever that was. Josh Jacobs is a different kind of animal, different kind of back, a little thicker, runs different. Before I get into the stats, and you guys can bring up the stats at all, I'm just going to start it very broad, just from your viewpoint as a Packers fan. How would you kind of summarize Josh Jacobs' first season with the Packers last year and kind of what he brought to the offense and team?
I think it was everything you could have hoped for with a big signing like that. Played in every game last year, which surprisingly, looking back, it was only the second time in his career that he had done that. So that was nice, and yeah, big game changer on offense.
Yeah, I agree. A plus. I mean, for a while there, he was literally the entire offense. Anything positive was coming out of him with how just suspect the receivers were game by game. So yeah, definitely an A plus effort. All we could ask for. We all loved Aaron Jones, but made it seem like it wasn't a big deal that we lost him. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if he can do better than last year. But yeah, it was a great year for him.
Well, we'll get into his stat predictions, I think, here in a little bit. Very curious to see if we do think he will do better stats wise. But yeah, top six, like in basically every major category in rushing this past season. Attempts, he had over 300, which was 60 NFL. That was 17.7 a game. He ran the ball 73 times on first down, which was top five. 1,329 yards in the regular season at 60 NFL, about 78.2 a game. 15 touchdowns, which we all, I think, really enjoyed. Had some big games there, just rushing. And then 36 receptions, 342 yards, and one touchdown receiving. So just kind of hearing those stats and just watching him, I guess. What do you think his role looks like in 2025? Can you do more with him in this offense? Do you think there's a bigger role with him in this offense? Or do you think you kind of saw basically in 2024 how LaFleur is going to use Josh Jacobs? Or just thoughts on what his role might look like, if it's going to grow, be the exact same, or if all these weapons coming together are going to shrink a little bit. What do you think his role kind of looks like in 2025 and how it maybe changes?
I hope he gets a few more looks in the pass game. To be honest with you, um, especially like in the screen game. God, their screen game's just been so shit for so long. I don't know how they figured that out. For some reason, it seemed like Emmanuel Wilson seemed to do okay, like when he was out there. The few times they tried it with him, but I would love to get Jacobs out in some screens and just let him run downhill behind a couple of those big linemen and take a few to the house.
Yeah, I mean, I think his role, he could see an increase. I don't think he can if we want the Packers to take the next step that we obviously all want them to take. I think all these playmakers around him have to get more touches any sort of way if we want this offense to evolve. I don't think he can solely be on him. I mean, you saw those analytics and people complaining about how they knew that he was going to get the ball in first down, all that stuff. So just how predictable they got. So yeah, I think he could. I think he can handle it. He can do whatever he wants. He's a stud. If we want the Packers to take the next step, in my personal opinion, I think he needs to take a step back. Not say he's gonna have a bad year. I think he'll still rush for over 1,000 yards easily, but all these other weapons got to start doing something at some point in time if they want to take that next step.
So, just a quick question, going back to kind of last week's discussion of the offensive line. They've kind of grown, got some bigger guys up front. Does that not signal that they want to run more? Does that mean they're taking them off the field a little more often with the other guys, Brooks or Wilson, giving them a little more rest? Or I don't know. It feels like up getting bigger on the offensive line kind of feels like they want to run more. I don't know.
I mean, it could. I think they just want to get cheaper in the offensive line. I think that's just how it fell. So that's whatever. I don't think Belton was super high up on there. Whatever. I think he was just the best available, and they knew they needed to attack that position. So that's what they did there. But I mean, maybe they talked about getting back to the huge in the inside with the days of T.J. Lang and Josh Sitton. To me, what they did when Jordan Love got hurt, they actually started pulling linemen in that Colts and Titans games, and which they haven't done in years. So they might be changing up their running style and do more of a down scheme, pull guys, stuff like that, than just all zone that LaFleur's always done. So yeah, I think that's more my thing is what kind of running style they're going to do this year. Because I mean, we all know Josh Jacobs is a completely different style running back than Aaron Jones ever was. So I was happy to see that they changed like the style. It's more of a power. So I mean, yeah, kind of like you just said, Mike. They're kind of attacking that, but I don't think that means that they're directly just going to straight up run the ball more. I just think it helps with Josh Jacobs' running style. He's more of a downhill guy than Aaron Jones being a slashy cutter speed type of guy.
Almost more of like an intimidation thing, which I don't know if that's a thing in the NFL. But if you have those massive interior guys in there and a guy that runs like Josh Jacobs too, it's kind of a, hey, here's what we're gonna do. Like stop us kind of thing. I don't know if that's always what it was like with Aaron Jones, where he was a little bit more finesse and kind of one cut and squirming through holes and stuff like that. But and saying not saying Josh Jacobs can't do that, but it is tough though because it's deceiving because like, just as a team as well, like, this was a top 5 rushing offense in the league last year, and I think we criticized LaFleur quite a bit just with his play calling, but I think it's tough to argue, though, his run stuff was very good and very creative, how he was able to run inside, run outside, some of the different looks he has out of different formations. Now I think the next step in the offense is using that stuff, and then, like I've mentioned multiple times, I think you guys as well, is marrying it with the pass as well. It's a lot more play action. And yes, they like to run the ball on first down. I don't think that's no secret. I said what Josh Jacobs 73 times on first down. I don't know what's 73 divided by 17. That's almost 4 or 5 times a game on first down that they're running the ball. So now just think if instead of running it, you have that more play action stuff, I think, with Jordan Love, which we'll get to at the end of the show as well. Loved what Dan Orlovsky said, I think today on just calling out people saying he did not take a step back last year. I don't know if you guys saw that. Which I don't know if you like Dan Orlovsky or not. You know, he's the guy that ran out of the back of the end zone. He seems to know football somewhat, but that's a different at the end of the episode. But yeah, the Packers offense, they if they did one thing successful, it was run the ball. And then Riley mentioned, I think a lot of games was just Josh Jacobs. And I think he helped the goal line. I think that was what they struggled with the last how many years of just converting inside the 10-yard line or the goal line in the red zone. And I feel like he changed that quite a bit as well, just with his running style, where LaFleur's like, I'm going to give this dude the ball 3 times at the 5-yard line and he's going to get in. And more times than not, he got in 15 touchdowns. So I think you're going to see more of that too, like kind of what Riley mentioned with those three big interior guys and kind of just slam it down your throat, stop us. Here's what we're going to kind of do. But I think you can also have more success running, maybe get those more, 4 or 5 yard runs on first down and really set up the offense with all those playmakers. So, yeah, very interesting. And I'm interested here. We're going to get to his stat prediction and then we'll get to the rest of the room. But just any other closing thoughts? I think it is a good point too about the pass game. So if you want to get him more involved in the pass game, do you add that to you? I would think 17.7 attempts per game. I think that's pretty spot on for him, right? At least running the ball. You probably want him 15 to 20 carries a game, I think, and to just the longevity and being able to last the full 17-game season. What are you kind of looking for? And Mike, I know you brought this up, so I'll start with you with the pass game. I know you said screens. Do you want him more, split out on certain downs and creativity, or just more check down stuff? Jordan Love taking the easy throw and get him in space, or just, hey, I don't care how it is, just get Josh Jacobs the ball more because he's a stud. Is that kind of what you mean by that? Maybe more touches their ass and
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Did they ever split him out wide? I don't know how often they really did that. I don't know. No, Riley's shaking his head. Don't. He doesn't feel like that kind of guy to me. Just the check downs, the easy completions. I think we saw one. I don't remember which game. I think it was the one game he scored his one receiving touchdown. I don't remember who it was against, but he kind of had a nice little arrow route out of the backfield. I mean, just design up something for him to beat a linebacker or something. I don't know. I feel like he's just so dynamic with the ball in his hands. Like, use him in multiple ways. And figure out that
I agree.
screen game. Good God.
Yeah, you just got to get the ball in his hands in space. I mean, he obviously is really good downhill runner, but I think he showed flashes last year. He is elusive. Like he's a motherfucker, even for a linebacker to tackle in space 1-on-1. So even if it's just short little flat routes or air routes, like Mike just said, anything, just get the ball in his hand if you know it's man to man and get him in space against the linebacker. And yeah, just let him go to work. He just makes plays. So just the simple shit.
before we wrap up here and go to a stat prediction. Yep, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, he also had 4 fumbles last year. We
Yeah.
lost 3 of them. Let's be a little more secure
Yeah.
with the ball, too.
A couple of them are like down at the goal line too. Wasn't like one right at the goal line or like was about to go in?
I think so.
Yeah. Just want to ask this and see if you guys agree with this. Do you think it's kind of worked out? Whereas do you think Aaron Jones, like that kind of running back, was a perfect fit for like Aaron Rodgers and kind of what the offense was built around him? And then now Josh Jacobs is almost a perfect fit of what Jordan Love like does well. Do you think that's something of just like that quarterback running back relationship and like the strengths of, what Aaron Rodgers did? Aaron Jones was kind of his, basically his tandem, I guess, for the last, 3 years there when they were really good and winning division and getting the 1 seed. Would you think that's kind of what Josh Jacobs kind of brings to like this offense of like what Jordan Love should do well with maybe some of the play action and things like that and his running style, or do you disagree with that?
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. How do you? I guess I'm not really understanding quite the question. Like, how does the play of the quarterback? What does that have to do with
Like
play style?
the importance of the offense, I think, and because when I look back at the Aaron Jones days, I think Aaron Jones was very good. Like, don't get me wrong. I think he's
Yeah.
done very good with the Vikings. But I think just when Jordan Love took over as quarterback, I think the Packers needed more of a thumper like Josh Jacobs. So I think at the time, that's why the signing to me made more sense because I think just with what appeared of what Matt LaFleur wanted to do with Jordan Love and then kind of the style and then kind of that, you know, San Francisco 49ers, Los Angeles Rams kind of offense kind of needed that thumper, more downhill guy. And that's where I think Josh Jacobs is like a perfect fit for this offense and a perfect fit for what, Jordan Love's strength should be to kind of go off the run and that play action and things. That's where I'm kind of coming from. Not trying to like compare the airs or compare, Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones versus Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs, but just like for this team specifically and the offense specifically, is Josh Jacobs like a better fit for Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love to like have success and just kind of his running and how you build the offense around him?
I think I'm gonna. I think yes and no. So I think yes for last year, this year, until Jordan Love truly figures it out. I think to help a young quarterback, Josh Jacobs is he's a bell cow, right? Offense is struggling. You don't put it all on Jordan Love's shoulders. Josh Jacobs can kind of carry that load and get the offense going. But I think no. Style-wise, I think that outside zone play action stuff that we saw him do in his run the first year into the playoffs was when he looked the best. Um, which that is not Josh Jacobs. He's not like an outside zone guy. So I mean, just based on what we've seen through 2 years, I think Jordan Love was better when he had Aaron Jones in the outside zone and the long play actions where he'd fake handoff way wide left and roll all the way to the right, hit some deep crosser. So, but at the same time, I can also blame that on LaFleur for not dialing up more play action stuff that we've talked about a million times already. But style wise, long term, no, I think they need to get back to what they did when he had Aaron Jones. I think that's what Jordan Love excels at. Um, Whereas Josh Jacobs helps him in the short term, but all his power run game stuff that we've talked about, the inside zone, that's going to keep Jordan Love, even if it's a play action, it's going to keep him static in the pocket. I don't think he's a static pocket guy. He's McCann, he likes to throw off his back foot, do all this crazy shit. I don't know. I just keeping him in the pocket's not. I don't think that's his like. That's we're not going to see the best Jordan Love possible if that's what he's going to be.
It's an interesting perspective. I haven't thought of it that way.
All right. That's why I have you two on here, you brilliant minds. So here we go. All right, let's get to the fun part, the stat prediction for 2025 for Josh Jacobs. Then we'll zoom out to the rest of the running back room. I texted you guys what rushing attempts, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and then receiving stats. So I know I did Jordan Love stats first last week, so we're gonna go opposite order. We're gonna start with Riley this week for Josh Jacobs' 2025 stat prediction.
All right, so mine, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I just for what I think the team needs, and what I think they're gonna go back and look at and what they know they have to do. He's slightly going to be down, not crazy. So I had 225 rushing attempts, right around 1,100 yards, and I just went down to 12 touchdowns. And then put that with 25 catches, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he still hit that 15-ish touchdown mark. He had 300 touches on the year. So yeah, I mean, getting him to 18 of those 20 touches a game, kind of like we said, is what they need to do, I think. And I mean, if they need to ride him a certain game, they can ride him, but it also keeps him a little bit fresher going into the playoffs, which is what we all hopeful for. So yeah, I mean, small step down, but still, I mean, somebody tells you a guy has 300 touches, almost 1,500 yards, and 15 touchdowns. I'm sure most teams are going to take that out of their running back.
All right, I kind of went the opposite way in terms of touches than than Riley. I think they want to get the most out of Josh Jacobs that they can. So I went 313 rushing attempts, 1,469 yards, and 13 touchdowns. I was kind of surprised looking back that he had 15 touchdowns last year. I didn't realize he had that many.
Well, I mean, he was like tied second in the NFL, I believe, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Something like that. You know.
Yeah. So then I had 42 catches for 416 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Okay. All right, so I just went a little bit of uptick on the reception. So I did 40 receptions, 400 yards, and I had 2 touchdowns. So I think I agree with Mike. I think he gets a little bit more involved in the passing game. Rushing attempts, I was literally right about the same. I did 305. I had the yards were a little bit up. I think he's going to reach the 1,400 mark and sneak into the top 5. And then touchdowns, I had the exact same as well. I think he finds a 15 just because I think he's so useful inside the 5-yard line. And the Packers, they seem like they can always get inside like the 10-yard line multiple times a game. It's just if they can convert it, or have to settle for a field goal. So all in all, though, I think we all expect pretty big years from Josh Jacobs in 2025.
You think he'll play all 17 games?
I hope he does. I'm gonna knock on wood.
That's not the question.
Yeah.
Do you think he does? We all hope he does.
I think he does. I think he's just built different. I don't know. I think he takes care of his body well, and I think they're gonna mix in some of these other guys potentially. So
Eh,
Riley doesn't think so.
I'd say, well, I mean, he's only had like 2 seasons of playing with whatever, so I don't know. I mean, it's got to catch up to him eventually.
That's the sad thing about running backs too in the NFL is like they can just drop off a cliff. They can go from all pro year to like what some recent examples like Todd Gurley was one of, if not the best running back in the league, and then he was just forgotten about there. He just dropped off a cliff. And I'm sure there's other guys that we can say as well, but hopefully, I think he's still got a few more good quality years left in him to kind of be that bell cow. So,
Hopefully he's more Derrick Henry than Todd Gurley.
yes, 100%. I would take that. Yes. All right. Let's zoom out. Look at this room as a whole. Everyone's pretty much back. Everyone is back, I guess. I mean, well, besides AJ Dillon, who I guess technically was on the roster last year, but not really. But he is officially gone, the mayor of Door County. Emmanuel Wilson, Marshawn Lloyd, Chris Brooks, Mar Johnson's the undrafted free agent. I'm just going to mention those 4 guys. So the depth, just with how this offense is, how do we feel about the depth just from what you saw, from those running backs last year? And potentially the wild card, I think, and Riley mentioned him, I think, when we talked about the draft, was Amar Johnson. If he makes the roster or, is a kind of a diamond in the rough, so to speak. What do we feel about this group overall and just the depth behind Josh Jacobs going into the season?
I like the depth for sure with Wilson and Brooks. The 2 question marks definitely are Marshawn Lloyd and Mar Johnson. They didn't fall off at all pretty much when either Wilson or Brooks were in last year. Wilson had a 4.9 average per carry and Brooks was 5.1. So anytime those guys were in, they were fine. And I think they're pretty solid in pass protection too when they were in there. Marshawn Lloyd, people, they say they're all excited about him, but I mean, I don't think it's even a guarantee that he makes the roster just because he was hurt all last year. He's got a whole year of catch up now that he has to play, and I mean, he could have all this talent, but are the injuries going to hamper him? Is Amar Johnson going to surpass him? I mean, I don't think they'll carry more than 3 players on the 53. I I wouldn't think. I mean, do they usually ever carry more than 3 running backs on the 53?
Depends if I can do special teams or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Lloyd's an exciting idea, but he's got to show it in camp and preseason to really make a case for himself. And I don't even know anything about Mark Johnson, so I'm interested to hear Riley's take on him.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar Johnson wise, I think he'll be the practice squad running back for the Packers. I don't think he's going to surpass any of those 3 guys. He's a physical freak, has a lot of carries. He's very similar style to Josh Jacobs. They obviously have that South Dakota State connection already with Tucker Kraft. So, yeah, I think he's primed to make the practice squad, and they'll pull him up if they need it. I think the 2 questions that Mike kind of brought them both up are, what is Marshawn Lloyd? Because I'm going to assume that if he's healthy, he's just going to show up and be the number 2 back. That just seems like something that Goody's going to push for with how high they drafted him and how whatever. And then the second question is, are they going to keep 4 backs? Also, Mike just kind of brought that up. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big Marshawn Lloyd fan. I don't know how you come into the NFL and just are fucking hurt your entire rookie year. It's not like he had a pre-existing injury. Like, he literally just was, like, too tight muscled. Like, I don't understand that. And like I just said, his stuff, what Mike said is he can't do special teams. He's solely just a running back. I mean, we really want him like taking snaps away from Josh Jacobs, and that's his only fucking benefit. I really don't. So I just don't know. I mean, his speed he is electric. So if he comes in fully healthy and he's flashy and can be a super, 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 super poor man's like Jahmyr Gibbs, who for the Packers offense, kind of like how he is for the Lions offense, like obviously very, very dulled down. I'm not trying to compare them at all, but that's what there's their idea behind it is Josh Jacobs is the hammer. He'd be the flashy speedster. If he can do that at all, fine, cool. I'm fine with that. Um, yeah, so I think he'll be the number 2, and then the question goes, are they going to keep 4? And if they don't, who's number 3? I mean, I think it would probably lean towards, as much as I hate to say it, because I love Emmanuel Wilson, I think it would lean towards the other way, because Brooks is a better in the pass game, better pass blocker. So third down running back, he just excels that way. Whereas Emmanuel Wilson's just the better pure running back. So it just makes no sense. I just said, but like just based on needed, like what they would need if they keep Josh Jacobs, they keep Marshawn Lloyd, they'd probably need a better pass protector. He's a better pass protector than both of them. He's a better pass protector than Emmanuel Wilson. So yeah, I think those are the 2 questions. What is Marshawn Lloyd? How do they view him? And if they view him as a number 2, like I'm assuming they're going to, are they going to keep 4? They're going to keep 3. If they only keep 3, who's winning that battle?
Yeah, it's the pressure is on Marshawn Lloyd, I would say, because I think at this point, you know what you're going to get from both Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks. I think they've carved out their roles and they do them pretty well, like you guys have mentioned. I don't think they're going to do anything crazy flashy, but I don't think they're going to like cost you games either. So they're just going to be very steady and be good, serviceable backups. So yeah, I think like you mentioned, it's just, is Marshawn Lloyd's ceiling very high? Yes. Will he ever reach that ceiling? I don't know. There's a lot of players on the Packers team on both sides of the ball that have very high ceilings probably, but unfortunately they just never have reached them. So yeah, I think the biggest fear is it's the idea of Marshawn Lloyd, if what Marshawn Lloyd looked like in college and the flashiness and the speed, like you mentioned. We just don't know if that's just going to stay like that, the idea, or be potentially get something from him, because I do agree. I think if he is healthy and we do see some of the things that he was able to do and just kind of the change of speed back from Josh Jacobs, I think could be really good to this offense and kind of carve a rollout. But again, that's a lot of what ifs, if he could do this, if he could stay healthy. And like Mike said, you're a full year behind. And you got pretty much everyone back from last year, or are everyone back from next year, who they're locked into their roles and you got to just be better than them. And I don't know. Goody always likes his guys and falls on the swords for his guys. So I think he's going to get every single opportunity to make the roster and be the RB2. But I guess just gut reaction, and then we'll open up to any final thoughts before we move on. Gut reaction. Who is the RB2 on paper right now? If training camp started tomorrow and let's say a preseason game was in a couple weeks, who would be your RB2 just from what you know right now from all these guys?
To me, it's Emmanuel Wilson right now. He's entrenched in that spot as of now. I mean, that can change. Put up 500 yards last year. He's been in the system 2 or 3 years now. I think until someone surpasses him, in my opinion, he's still RB2.
Yeah, in my opinion, it'd be Emmanuel Wilson, and I think with the Packers they're going to show up with, it's going to be Marshawn Lloyd. So yeah, I love Emmanuel Wilson. I think he's a solid number 2. But yeah, I think on their paper and their board right now and LaFleur's offense, it's Marshawn Lloyd right below Josh Jacobs.
Okay. Any closing thoughts before we move to the final drive? Mike, you got something?
But one other player that we didn't mention, we've talked about him.
Williams.
Yep, Riley knows where I'm going. Talked about him in draft. We'll talk about him more next week. Does he steal any carries out of the backfield this year, just with what he did in college? And how often does he do that?
Fucking better. I don't know. He better get at least 2 carries a game. I don't care if it's 2 running back or jet sweeps or whatever, but he better get at least 2 or 3 a game.
What is the formation where it's shotgun and 2 back, or not? Is it shotgun 2 backs in the back? I can't remember, but it's
Pony, they could have each.
Yeah,
It's a pony.
that's
Call
the
it
way
pony.
calls it pony. I feel like he could be in some pony sets and run some cool stuff out of that, but for some reason I just think he's going to be a lot of just the eye candy coming across, and like we're just going to be crossing our fingers and hoping for him to actually get touches, but he never does. That, in my mind, that's what It's going to be Matt LaFleur's little toy for just linebackers watching east to west kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if they just truly see him as like a fucking pure receiver. Like I don't know why the fuck they drafted him because that's not what he is. Like I don't. It would make no sense for him just to do that. So yeah, he better get something. I don't. Yeah, eye candy or get the ball or whatever. But he better not just be out wide the entire season. Otherwise, I don't know why they picked him. There's other receivers still available there that could be possession guys.
Yeah. I feel like Matt LaFleur always he has guys like that on the roster that can like get the ball out of the backfield or jet sweeps or get in space that you're like really excited about, and then it's just very underwhelming so far in like his offense of how he could use them. And there's so many guys that you could say on the roster right now.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about this next week, but it's like not to say like I just going off what I just said. It's like if you fucking draft him just to be like a receiver, it's like Malik Heath and both Melton are both better fucking true receivers than him. So it's just like you're gonna release both of those guys to keep him, and that's just not what he's good at. It would just piss me off if they don't use him as a running back type some of the time.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Anything else? Good catch, Mike.
Thank you.
Completely lost my mind there. Monday brain, I guess. All right. Well, let's get into the final drive for this week. We're gonna stick with the running back theme. Not gonna lie, had some help with from ChatGPT on this. Just getting some ideas and gave me the idea. Running back roulette is what it's called. So we have 6 categories. Mike knows them. Riley doesn't know them. So it could be very interesting. I've kind of looked at them, haven't really like put a ton of thought in. So basically, this category or scenario that you're going to get, you're going to pick a running back for that scenario. It can be a current running back in the NFL. It can be a past running back in the NFL. It can be whoever. And you can only use that player once. Does that make sense? So basically, this player is who you trust most in this specific scenario. Okay. All right. And just to put Riley on the spot, because he didn't want to know what the categories are, we're going to start with him on this first one. So I'm going to spin my imaginary wheel for running back roulette, Riley. And your first scenario is one cut, home run threat. Which running back defines that best?
Chris Johnson, Titan years.
Okay. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. I don't even think you have to really defend.
Fastest running back ever. If you want one cut home run guy, that's who you're fucking going with.
Yeah, I agree. That's a tough one to go against. He had some big. What do you have? What did he have rushing that one year? How many yards did he have? It was like something ridiculous, wasn't it?
DJ 2K.
Yeah.
Went over 2,000.
Yeah, so he went over 2,000. That's pretty good in running back stats wise. But all right, Mike, you one cut home run threat.
I thought about Chris Johnson, but I wanted to be different, so I went with Bo Jackson.
Okay. All right, couple throwing it back. I guess I'll stay modern because I just thought about it. I'm just trying to think modern. NFL guys, if you guys are go the pass, one cut home run threat to me is Jahmyr Gibbs. I think right now, feel like that guy get that guy the ball in space and he's like freaking gone. I've watched so many games where he just turns on the accelerators and beats many guys to the end zone. But all right, let's spin it again. We're gonna start with Mike this time. All right, Mike. Best receiving back of all time.
LaDainian Tomlinson. Just look at the stats. Look how many receptions he had. Look at the yards he had. He went over 1,000 yards. It was either between him and Marshall Faulk. I decided to go LT.
Marshall Faulk was what came to my head, the part of the best show on turf. So yeah, the early 2000 Rams, he was the first running back that really got a lot of receptions.
Oh boy. All right, you guys, I think went with the clear, probably 1 and 2. I'm just gonna throw a random name out there just because. Watch him catch a lot of balls. Darren Sproles. Probably not the best receiving back of all time, but he was pretty dang good, I think, and that was legit his role in multiple offenses. But
CMC could be part of this conversation very easily, Paul.
That's true. It's a good call.
sure, come on, go modern, yeah. All right, let's spin it again. Part of running back roulette. That's 2 of 6. The next one. All right, 3rd and 1. Who's your guy? Riley.
Okay. I feel like a lot of people would go the Buster on Bettis. I'm not. I'm gonna let's go Mike Allstott.
Oh,
I don't care if you count him as running back or not. Mike Allstott.
That's what I went with too. I love watching Mike Allstott highlights of him just running straight downhill and just plowing through people. Just doesn't stop. Yeah, Mike Allstott for sure.
It was legit 3 for 3. I had 2 I had down for this one as well. Your modern day current NFL running backs is it? I mean, it's pretty much got to be
Derrick Henry.
Is it Derrick Henry? Maybe can you throw Josh Jacobs in there?
Jacobs, maybe, I don't know.
A couple guys like that. I mean, I think Derrick Henry is probably the clear cut guy here, right? I would think. I mean, you can make an argument with a lot of guys that could probably get 3rd and 1. Yeah, Jalen Hurts. Okay, all right. Let's keep it going. Spinning the wheel again. All right, let's go. Game on the line. 4th quarter drive. Who do you want in the backfield? Mike.
I went with Adrian Peterson here. Guy was just a force. So well conditioned, just a beast. I don't know. I mean, you could pick any number of backs here, but I'm gonna go with Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, you get a guy that's gonna basically help you win the game. I'll go with the best running back of all time, in my opinion. I'll just go with Barry Sanders.
It's a pretty good one. Pretty good too. Let's go modern, current NFL guys. I mean, I think you got to do. I got to put Saquon Barkley. I think in 4th quarter in the backfield. I think he's kind of earned that stripe, especially with the Eagles now. I know Giants. He was up and down in injuries, but my God, is he scary with that Eagles offensive line and just that offense in general. But all right, 2 left. We are going to go back to the Bruisers. Goal line beast. Ball's on the 1 or inside the 1. Who you giving to break the plane?
I'll go Jerome Bettis. I didn't use him before. I'll use him now, just because he's fucking just so massive.
That's who I went with as well. Just huge.
Would the fridge count for this? Give one shout out to the one shout.
You might as well count like BJ Raji then.
That's true. Modern. If I can't pick Derrick Henry, tough one.
I also have a different guy.
I'm trying to even think. Maybe like a thumper like David Montgomery, or trying to think who else is like a thumper that runs hard in the goal line down there. I'll just do David
Connor from the Cardinals running back runs hard.
Cardinals. Yep, him as well. Okay, Mike, you had something else?
Marshawn Lynch. Shout out Pete Carroll.
Yes, Marshawn Lynch is a good one. Yeah. Hey, nowadays NFL too, you go with some speed guys too. 3rd and 1 doesn't have to be inside. It can be speed stuff on the outside nowadays. So just beat the guy to the pylon, bud.
Yeah.
All right, last one of running back roulette. Riley, who is the back that you would build a franchise around today?
Ooh, today that I haven't used. Oh, I mean, all-time great as well. He kind of did a little bit of everything. I hate the Bears, but Walter Payton, I guess he could do pretty much anything.
I went with Saquon here.
Okay.
Just, yeah, that guy can do everything.
It's a tough one. I'm trying to think of the modern guys I haven't used yet. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, but he's kind of getting up there. I know he's had some injuries issues, but I would still take him in my backfield. Bijan Robinson hasn't gotten mentioned quite a bit. I think he's pretty dang good. Would Ashton Genty be a crazy pick? I don't know. Would Ashton Genty, who hasn't done a single thing in the NFL, be a crazy pick for this to build around just with the hype?
Is it crazy that I don't get the hype
Ooh,
for him?
that doesn't get
Yes.
hype.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Maybe do that. I don't know. I think there's a lot of really good young running backs in the NFL that are in bad situations too. That I feel like if they were in better situations, I think they could shine a little bit. Like Breece Hall with the Jets. So like there's a lot of freaking talent there, but that team has just been terrible since he started. The dude's still only 23, 24 years old. Devon A-Chain, super fun to watch. That could be like another one cut back from the Dolphins. Yeah, just a lot of fun running backs right now in the NFL, and there's a good mixture of kind of everything. Your Derrick Henry to your Jahmyr Gibbs and Devon A-Chain, like I mentioned, of different sizes, different skill sets and speeds. But all right, before we get out of here, zoom out completely. The sports world. Let's give the listeners any final thoughts of anything from the past week or the week ahead to our next episode that you guys want to talk about or looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to the Stanley Cup final. Rematch it last year. See if the Panthers can either repeat or if Connor McDavid, best player in the world, can finally get his first cup. Dude, that dude is just so fun to watch with the puck on his stick. God, he's
Fast.
He's a freaking wizard. He's so fast and just always in control. It's unreal. So we'll see if Stu Skinner can hold him down or not.
It's still. Yeah, just both finals, see if the Pacers can actually hang with the Thunder. The NHL is going to be fucking insane. I don't know if you're going to still ask about the Daniel comments from before, but I like Daniel Lowski. I think he's funny, but like, I don't know what the fuck he was watching. Jordan Love was not better last year than he was in that last stretch of the year before. So I mean, I wouldn't say he got like worse, but I don't know how you define taking a step back, but he fucking was not better last year than he was in that stretch the end of the year before.
And
What did he say? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, basically, Mike, he said, for those of you who think Jordan Love digressed from 2024, you don't know football or you didn't watch his games last year or something like that. I think is what the thing was. Basically, he was saying Jordan Love had a lot better year than people thought this past year compared to the year before. I think that's what I saw, but okay.
That's what he said. I said, yeah.
Some fun things that got announced. I know training camp officially starts. Is it Wednesday, July 23rd, I believe? And then the meeting is Friday, which is different, right? Usually that's like before training camp starts, like the weekend before. But we'll be super excited to talk about all of that. Club World Cup. Any interest in that, Riley? Is what it is. Mike's like, what the hell is that?
I'll watch it. We don't know. Nobody knows what, I mean, I don't know. It should be fine.
Do you think the U.S. is going to be able to actually withhold all of that and host it? Or do you think it's just going to be an utter failure and affects FIFA's going to say, we don't want you to host the World Cup. We'll just do it in Canada and Mexico and not do anywhere in the U.S.
That's a good question because I truly do not think they understand how crazy soccer fans are, but like they have the means to like fucking contain it. But I mean, they failed in the past just with smaller tournaments. So I don't know. They don't soccer. The USA does not get the soccer culture and the insanity of the fans. Like that's their entire fucking lives. So I don't know. That's a 50-50. I don't know. They might fuck themselves. They might figure it out. I don't know.
I mean, that's what this is. It's pretty much a warm up for the World Cup, right? And that's kind of what they're testing out in a way. I mean, it's not even, Mike, it's basically like teams from all over the world are coming together to play in the United States here in like a couple weeks. And it's not even, they say it's the best teams, but really not all the best teams are there.
It's not like countries, like just the best random teams from like all the top leagues throughout the world.
So, yeah. we'll get Riley to at least watch something. We'll have something to watch in the meantime if he wants to turn it on. My closing thought, and the rumor mill of the Fighting Illini basketball, Illinois, on Black Friday playing UConn at Madison Square Garden. They are on the verge of locking up that game, according to John Rothstein. So, again, UConn last time they played Elite Eight blew them out by 30 points, went on like a 30-0 run. So, if that happens, I think UConn's going to be a top 5 team in the country. That could be a top 15 matchup. Could be pretty tough. Hopefully not similar to what Duke did to Illinois this past year, but gotta love Brad Underwood loving to get those big name games just randomly. Well, I guess that's not random. That's before conference play, but
Just a fucking great way to get Illinois fans all depressed before we even know what our team is. Whole new team. Let's play fucking UConn. That's going to be a top 5 team and get our asses kicked, and then we're all going to think we suck until conference play.
what real quick, then we'll get out of here. I don't want to keep rambling on. Mike, what's your thoughts about this too? The coaches that like to schedule really, really, really hard games, like just consistent top 5, top 10 when you have like a new team. Are you for or against that? Because I think it's a interesting argument because yeah, it could strengthen them, but could also like you could just lose all 5 games by 20 points and not learn anything about your team and just have 5 losses on your record like later. I know it like helps your strength of schedule and all that stuff for like tournament stuff, but it's an interesting conversation and an argument of is that actually good? I know some coaches like it, some coaches don't.
It's a double-edged sword for sure because either if you perform really well early in the season and you beat them, that's looks great on your resume, and if you just absolutely cake your pants, then your resume looks like shit in February and March. So I don't know. It could help galvanize your team for later in the season, learn some lessons, but definitely a double-edged sword for sure. I mean, me, I don't really care because I'm not really watching college basketball that early in the season anyway, so I don't really pay too much attention to it. But yeah,
To me, and then Underwood's because he did this last year, obviously, but his team was so young last year. This team is like the new guys, but they're older guys, the Europeans. So like to me, the positivity side of me, which is very small, usually Colin knows is I'm not fucking positive. But for him to schedule UConn like this late, like he has to feel pretty good about like he must think that they're going to be fucking good. Is like this isn't the like I get it more if it's like a young team, like you got like a Duke where they have all these fucking freshmen and they're so hype and like maybe you bring in a team to come just beat the fuck out of them so they realize they have to work extra hard. Like this Illinois team does not need that. They're a bunch of older European guys. So the only thing that makes sense to me, if especially to schedule it this late, like in June, like you know what you're asking for. So he must think like they're gonna be fucking good.
Time will tell. Time will tell. And I was right there with you, Mike, well, not really. I was on the opposite side because Illinois football was so bad for so long, whereas like they just needed to get me like through their first 4 weeks of the season and get to the basketball season started. But Mr. Bielema, the pumpkin, has turned that around, I think, these last few years. So now they're actually somewhat exciting to watch, even without the dreaded Big Ten West or whatever the heck they called that just terrible division of that was the other side was so much better. But we'll talk about that hype I think in a few weeks. But all right, let's get out of here. Once again, thank you all for listening. Make sure to keep telling us how we're doing on Spotify or YouTube. We got the video up and ripping. Comments. Oh yeah, real quick. Max left a comment. Frequent listener of the show. I think he's listened to every single episode. I think I've got to pull it up. It was a hypothetical, Mike, and I don't think you were too thrilled about it from the sounds of it.
he's talk to you about this.
Let me let me find the comment on Spotify. I feel like we have to answer it to show him some love here. All right, here it is. hypothetically, and either of you can answer this real quick. Hypothetically, if Love stinks this season, which I hope he doesn't, who would you say and or when would they pick or sign a replacement future starter?
I don't even know how to. Yeah, go ahead, Riley.
You can't answer because you like don't like what was that like what defines how, if he sucks or not? Like they can. I mean, I mean, I don't know. As you could still feed Josh Jacobs, and if the defense is as good as like Jordan Love can suck next year, and Josh Jacobs can be an All Pro, and the defense can be a top 5 defense, and they'll still fucking be like 10-7. Like that's just what like that's how you win game. If you have a good running game and a good defense, like you can still win plenty of games in the NFL. So like I don't know. So I don't know like what quarterback they could get. I don't. They're not. I mean, they're not going to go fucking 3-14 next year and draft Arch Manning. Like that's just not even possible. If they wouldn't even go 3-14 with Malik Willis, I don't fucking know, Max. I don't. Give me some more information here.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you, Max, for the comment and for listening. We really do appreciate it. I'll try to answer the question, the hypothetical. I mean, if he stinks, I mean, he's still got what, 3 years on his contract, 4 years. So, I mean, I don't even know like how the mechanisms would work to dump the contract, to dump the player, because there's salary cap ramifications that go with that, and I don't know. I think if he quote unquote stinks this year, it's probably they'll give him another year at least, and then if he stinks again, then they'll probably really look at moving on. But I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna out Max here and give you a better hypothetical that actually fucking could happen. All right, let's say the Packers are rolling this year, and it's week like 12. They're fucking like, oh, they have the bye already. So they'd be, let's say they're like 8-3, 9-2, like they're fucking good. Jordan Love hurt, season-ending injury. Aaron Rodgers did not sign with the Steelers. He's just chilling at home. Do they fucking call Aaron Rodgers to come try to win a Super Bowl, or they roll with Malik Willis? There's a real hypothetical that I'm sure it's crossed all Packers' minds at some point in time. Not very realistic, but like if it's me, I do call his ass. But that's just me. I don't know.
I think you would have to call them. I think the more thing is Aaron Rodgers would, then all the power would be kind of on his side. Do you think just his personality, do you think he would come back to the Packers just with how all that went down, or no? That would be my only thing with Rodgers. He's like too prideful of not.
Apologize. It's just Goody though. It's not anybody else. It's literally nobody else in that fucking city. Like anywhere, like population anywhere in that circle, nobody besides Goody would have to say shit. Because Murphy said other shit. Murphy's gonna be gone on July 25th, so he doesn't give a fuck about him. It literally would just be Goody.
I feel like Rodgers would say like, "Sure, Goody, issue a public apology to me, and then I will." I feel like he would do something like that, or he would say something on like the McAfee show saying, "Oh yeah, Goody, he reached out, he apologized, he said he was just completely wrong and terrible for how he handled all that, and yeah, everything's good now." So I don't know. It's a good question. It's probably more realistic.
Yeah.
Say it's more realistic. And let's be honest, if Love does stink this year, the Packers' way is they would probably draft someone in the first or second round and let him sit for 3 years. Right? Like that would have to
If
be the
no,
way.
what would happen first? If Love sucks this year, LaFleur's getting fucking fired. Like that's what's gonna happen first, because that'd be LaFleur not fitting with his offense, because I think his talent, which made I don't know. We've complained about LaFleur here plenty of times. I think he's a fine head coach, but he obviously, we've all said it, we think he has his downfalls in certain situations that haven't gotten any better. So I think if Love sucks this year, I think the Packers are gonna suck this year. I think LaFleur would be the first one to go. I think the Heat would be on Jordan Love. He'd have one more year. I think it'd be loud, but I think the Packers' way would be see LaFleur and try somebody else.
I agree. I can see that. But the Magic 6 year, the quarterback, Brett Favre, won a Super Bowl in his 6th year. with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers won his only Super Bowl with his 6th year as on the Packers. This is Jordan Love, believe it or not. This is his 6th season with the Packers after sitting and now starting. Do we get the same magic with the Packers quarterback in their 6th season winning a Super Bowl? We will see. Time will tell. But
You know what's wild to think about?
what's that?
It's been longer since the Packers' last Super Bowl than there was between their last Super Bowl and the one before that.
I know. Craven one. That'd be a good podcast episode would be all the what ifs. I know we would have to go down just terrible memories about all the whoop it since the last like Super Bowl. But there is probably quite a few that would be fun to talk about. Maybe we'll have to think about that. A what ifs episode in the last since what, 2015? Because there's probably got to be
14.
2014. Yeah, there's got to be a good handful of what if episodes. If
The
thing,
Seattle championship game.
yeah, we'll think about it. All right, well, let's get out of here. Once again, Max, thanks for the comment. Keep commenting. Riley might say just something a little better, maybe. Just kidding. But anything is great. Spice.
Words.
Look what you did. You sparked a conversation for an extra 10 minutes here about just randomness and answer that and another hypothetical from Riley.
Max, I want you to answer my fucking question, Max, my hypothetical. You better type this week and answer it.
All right, that's a good one. Test him if he's actually listening or just comments and
And the rest of you.
Yes, everyone else, post your questions. We know if you listen, kind of. Yeah, show us some love. But all right, well, as always, Colin, Riley, Mike, another fun episode. We'll see you next week. Have a good one, everyone.
Love you guys.